आज हम लोग कुछ एक इम्पॉर्टेंट बहुत ही इम्पॉर्टेंट टॉपिक पे बात करने वाले हैं। ज़िंदगी जीते तो सब है, पर पता नहीं है कि जिंदा क्यों है। और जिंदा इसलिए है क्योंकि कुछ ऐसी चीज़ें हो रही हैं हमारे शरीर में जो हमें भी नहीं पता, और जो कि अपने आप होती हैं। उन्हीं को लाइफ प्रोसेस बोलते हैं। तो आज हमारे एकेडमी के बच्चे आपको एक एक फुल लाइफ प्रोसेस के बारे में बताएंगे, जो होती तो अपने आप है, पर अगर वो ना हो तो हम में से कोई जिंदा ना हो जाए। ठीक है, ओके, शुरू करते हैं।
Good evening to all of you. This is Suryanshu Agarwal standing before you to say a brief on the topic the nutrition in plants. Plants need food for the process of photosynthesis. They supply the
घबराओ मत, जो मन में आए बोलो, नोट्स पढ़ना।
Plants require food which supply energy for the various metabolic activities. Food which supply the energy for the various metabolic activities. Green plants make their own food and hence they are called autotrophs. The plants synthesize their own food by the process of photosynthesis. The process by which the green plants make their own food with the help of chlorophyll and sunlight and water and CO2 is called photosynthesis. The equation for photosynthesis is like this. When the 6CO2 is reacted with the 6H2 in the presence of chlorophyll, it gives the 6H2 plus C6H12O6, which is the glucose. The photosynthesis involves the various steps. Firstly, the light energy is being converted, is absorbed by the chlorophyll. The light energy is converted into the chemical energy. And the water splits into hydrogen and oxygen by the light energy. The CO2 is reduced by hydrogen to form carbohydrates, which is by using the chemical energy. The conditions necessary for the process of photosynthesis are oxygen, carbon dioxide, chlorophyll, water and sunlight. Green plants take CO2 from the air by the tiny pores called stomata. They are the tiny pores present on the surface of the leaves. Their main function is the exchange of the gases from the atmosphere and the plant. The guard cells present in the surface of the leaves controls the opening and the closing of the stomata. When water flows into the guard cells, they swell up and become curved and cause the opening of the guard cells. And on the other hand, when the guard cells lose water, they shrink, become straight and cause the closing of the stomata. The water absorbed by the roots of the plant is transferred upward to xylem vessels where it reaches to the green leaves of the plant. The extra glucose is changed into another food called starch. This starch is stored in the leaves of the plant. Thank you.
Good evening everyone, this is Vaishnavi Urkar. After discussing on nutrients in plants, I want to discuss on nutrients in humans. There are 5 processes which takes place in human ingestion. One of them is ingestion, the intake of food. The moment food is in digestion starts. Second is digestion, which have mouth cavity and vocal cavity. Mouth cavity have teeth which cuts and breaks down the food. This is called physical digestion. Tongue mixes food with saliva, and salivary gland secretes watery liquid called saliva. After swallowing, the food moves to esophagus or food pipe, which have a contraction and expansion in muscles. This movement is called peristaltic movement. Then it goes to stomach. It stays for 3 hours in stomach and breaks it into smaller pieces. There are 3 types of glands which secrete juices in stomach: gastric juice, HCl, enzymes like pepsin and mucus. HCl kills the bacteria, pepsin breaks the proteins, and mucus protect from the excess of HCl. Now the food moves to the small intestine, and the muscle which allow it to move is a sphincter muscle. In small intestine, there are 2 glands which secrete juices like liver and pancreas. Liver secrete bile juice, which is stored in gallbladder, and pancreas secrete pancreatic juice. Pancreas is beneath the stomach and have digestive enzymes like lipase, annulus, and trypsin. Lipase breaks fats, annulus breaks starch, and trypsin breaks proteins. The walls of small intestine secrete juice called intestinal juice, which makes the food a watery soluble substance and do complete digestion. Now the third process is absorption. The inner surface of small intestine has millions of tiny finger-like projections called villi. They increase the surface area and allow the food to absorb within them. Fourth process is assimilation. The assimilation is the transportation of food in the parts of body. The cells in the parts of our body assimilate with food to form energy and development and repair the body parts. The left food is further stored in liver in the form of glycogen. And the food which is used in the form of energy is oxidation by respiration. The last process is digestion. Parts of undigested food moves from small intestine to large intestine, and villi absorb water from it and makes it almost solid, and it's stored in rectum. After it moves out through anus, and the muscle which allow it to move is anus sphincter. This is how human beings get food digested in their body.
Everybody, this is Rahul Verma standing here to explain nutrition, respiration in plants. Like animals, plants also need energy. Plant get this energy by the process of respiration. In respiration, plant use oxygen and releases carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide and oxygen are respiratory gases. In plants, the respiration takes place in all the parts of the plants, like root, stem, and leaves. In roots, the respiration takes place by the process of diffusion, where oxygen diffuses into the root hair and passes into the root cell, from where carbon dioxide diffuses into where carbon dioxide moves out in the cell. In body plants consist lenticles, which help them to exchange the gases. In stem, respiration also takes place by the process of diffusion through stomata into the cell of the leaves, and carbon dioxide is released from the cell. The respiration takes so much slow in plants.
Thank you. Myself, Disami Shukarma from class 10th. My topic is respiration in animals. In simple unicellular animals are amoeba. The respiration takes place by the diffusion of gases. Through the amoeba, and then inland the animals are man, bird, dog, lizard, etc. They take respiration by lungs. In the soil, the earthworms take respiration by their skin, then take oxygen by the air and give out the carbon dioxide. Then the respiration take place in the aquatic animals are fish, prawns, and mussels. Take place by their gills taking oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. Thank you.
Ashidin from class 10th, and my topic is respiration in human. First, I start the respiration in human beings. I want to introduce what is breathing. Breathing process involves the inhale and exhale. The breathe in process done two things simultaneously. First, the जो रिब केज के बीच की मसल्स रहती हैं वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करती हैं और वो मूव करती हैं आउटवर्ड, अपवर्ड एंड आउटवर्ड. सेकेंड इज डायफ्राम जो मूव करता है डाउनवर्ड. ड्यू टू दिस बोथ प्रोसेसेस जो चेस्ट कैविटी रहती है वो अपना स्पेस बढ़ा देती है और जो एयर रहती है वो शक हो जाती है, वो लंग्स के अंदर चली जाती है. नाउ द सेकंड प्रोसेस इज ब्रीथ आउट. ब्रीथ आउट इज डन on that two processes. First, the muscles of rib cage, the muscles between rib cage moves inward and downward and expand, and the diaphragm moves downward, and it becomes the chest cavity smaller, and air is pushed out. The CO2 is pushed out from the lungs. Now the respiratory system in human beings. The respiratory organs are nose, nostril, nasal cavity, bronchs, trachea, bronchioles, and diaphragm. First, the air get inside from the nose. उसके बाद वो nostril में जाती है, जिसमें hair present, nasal hair present नहीं. उसके बाद वो nasal cavity में जाती है और nasal passage में, जिसमें nasal hairs present रहते हैं जो purify करते हैं air को, जो dust को trap करते हैं. उसके बाद वो म्यूकस सीक्रेशन भी करते हैं जो डस्ट को जो एयर को प्योरीफाई करते हैं. उसके बाद जो प्योर एयर रहती है वो विंड पाइप में जाती है, उसके लिए ट्रैकिया भी बोलते हैं. उसके बाद जो एयर रहती है वो ब्रॉन्चीज में जाती है विंड पाइप से, जो नेक तक रहता है. उसके बाद ब्रॉन्चीज डिवाइड हो जाते हैं दो पार्ट में. वो बहुत सारी चीज़ में डिवाइड हो जाते हैं जिनको ब्रॉन्चील्स बोलते हैं. उसके बाद जो they created a network and divided millions of air sacs called alveoli. Alveoli में exchange of air होता है. उसके बाद exchange of air होता है, then CO2 and O2 forms. Now the conclusion of the respiration in humans are जो एयर रहती है वो पहले इनसाइड जाती है, उसके अंदर जाती है. उसके बाद जो एयर जो स्पेस रहता है वो बड़ा होता है और एयर का प्रेशर डिक्रीज हो जाता है. उसके बाद वो विंड पाइप में जाती है थ्रू नसल पैसेज एंड नॉस्ट्रल्स. अंदर जाने के बाद वो एल्वियोली में जाती है जहाँ एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस होते हैं. एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस होने के बाद वो जो एल्वियोली रहते हैं वो कनेक्टेड रहते हैं ब्लड कैपिलरीज से. ब्लड कैपिलरीज कनेक्ट रहते हैं पूरे बॉडी पार्ट्स में. फिर O2 जो रहता है ऑक्सीजन वो डिफ्यूज होता है इन सेल्स में. उसके बाद सेल्स अपना खाना बनाते हैं और रिलीज करते हैं एनर्जी एंड कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. और जो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रहती है वो बाहर जाती है फ्रॉम सेम पाथ. थैंक यू.
This is Sanskriti Samaja and my topic is transportation in plants. Transportation in plants. Transport system in plant is less elaborated than in animals. Plant have simple structure. All the cells get oxygen for respiration and carbon dioxide for photosynthesis from air. So the leftover substances which it have to get from the soil are water and minerals. Another job of transport system is to transport food in all parts of the plant. It have two conducting tissues, that is xylem and phloem. Xylem tissue transports water and minerals, and the phloem tissue transports food. Water and minerals are absorbed by roots of the plants and then transported to all the parts of the plant, like stem, flower and leaves. In leaves, this water and minerals are used for making food by the process of photosynthesis. This prepared food is transported to all parts of the plant. This transportation is done by two elements, that is xylem vessels and tracheids. Now, xylem vessels. These are non-living tubes made up of hollow dead cells, also called vessel element, joined end to end. They do not have cytoplasm or nuclei. Tracheids are also thin spindle-shaped cells. They also do not have cytoplasm or nucleus. Mechanism of transport of water and minerals. The plants take water and minerals from the soil through the roots, and this water is carried by xylem vessels to all the parts of the plant. This happens as follows. Roots of the plant have root hair directly connected to the soil. They absorb water from the soil by the process of diffusion. The absorbed water passes from cell to cell of the plant and by the process of osmosis through epidermis, root cortex, endodermis, and reach to the root xylem vessel. Root xylem vessels are connected to stem xylem vessels. Water enters to every part of the plant through petiole. 1 or 2% of water is utilized by it, and rest of the water is lost by the process of transpiration. Now, transport of food. Food prepared in leaves is transported to all parts of the plant by a kind of tissue called phloem. This process of transport of food is called translocation. Phloem is made up of many cells joined end to end. Walls of these cells are broken down and have small holes in them. These holes allow the food to pass through them along the phloem tubes. Sieve tubes which form phloem are living cells which contain cytoplasm but not nucleus. Each sieve tube has companion cell next to it. Food is made in mesophile cells. It goes from high pressure area to low pressure area according to the concentration and need of food in every part. Now, mechanism of transport of food. Food is loaded in sieve tubes of phloem by utilizing energy. Water enters into sieve tube by the process of osmosis, due to the presence of which in the phloem tissue, the pressure in the phloem tissue rises. The high pressure produced by this helps allows the food to move in all the parts having less pressure area.
Vamshi, and my topic is human circulatory system. Human circulatory system consists of heart, blood vessels such as arteries, veins, capillaries, and blood. Blood is a red liquid part which circulates in our body. It helps in the transport of different gases and food particles from one part of the body to the other. Heart is in roughly triangular in shape, which consists of 4 chambers. The upper 2 chambers of the heart are these upper 2 chambers are atrium, and the lower 2 chambers are ventricle. The oxygenated blood from the lungs comes through the pulmonary vein to the left atrium, which then moves through inlet valve, that is V1, to the left ventricle. When left ventricle contracts, the oxygenated blood moves through V3 from main artery, that is aorta, to different parts of the body. This oxygen is used and carbon dioxide is produced. The deoxygenated blood from different parts of the body come to heart through main vein, that is vena cava, into the right atrium. When right atrium contracts, the deoxygenated blood comes to right ventricle through valve V2, and when right ventricle contracts, the deoxygenated blood comes from V4, valve V4, to pulmonary artery, which then joins to lungs, from where carbon dioxide moves out of the body. Another system which helps in the transport of material is lymphatic system. Lymphatic system consists of lymph vessels, lymph capillaries, lymph nodes, and lymph capillaries join to form lymph vessels, which contains the lymph nodes, which contains WBCs, special WBCs, which are known as lymphocytes, which helps in the cleaning of lymphs. Then the clean lymph moves from lymph vessels to main vein, which then moves to heart.
Good evening to all. I am Mansi Singhal, standing here to explain the process of excretion in animals and humans. Excretion in animals. In amoeba, unicellular organism, the waste material CO2 diffusion through the cell membrane, but nitrogenous waste like ammonia and excess water is removed from the contractile vacuum. Then in earthworm, waste material is removed from the skin and nephridia, which is its excretory organ. Now excretion in humans. The excretory system of human beings consists of following main organs: 2 kidneys, 2 ureters, bladder and urethra. Kidneys are bean-shaped organs towards the back of our body, just above the waist. Every person has 2 kidneys. The function of kidneys is to remove the poisonous substance, urea, other waste salts and excess water from the blood and excrete them in the form of a yellowish liquid called urine. Thus kidneys clean our blood by filtering it to remove unwanted substances from it. The clean blood is carried away from the kidneys by the renal vein. The ureters, one from each kidney, opens into the urinary bladder. Ureters are the tube which carry urine from the kidneys to the bladder. Urine is stored in the bladder. The urethra is the tube. The urine collected in the bladder is passed from the body through the urethra. Each kidney is made up of a large number of excretory units which are called nephrons.
I am Arpan Samaya. My topic to explain is nephrons and kidney function. Upper part of the nephrons is the upper part of the nephrons is the Bowman's capsule. Then the tubule. Then the lower part is the tubule. The nephrons are millions in our body. The deoxygenated blood enters from the renal artery to the Bowman's capsule, where the glomerulus are present, which do the filtration. Then after filtration, it goes to the tubule. This is the tubule where the selective reabsorption takes place. And this rod is going like it is a blood capillaries, where the useful products like the useful salts, amino acid and glucose are being given to the blood capillaries, and which go then the blood becomes pure and goes to the body. And the rest products, which are urea, excessive water and salts, they go through the tubule. Then after tubule, they are collectively known as the urine. They go to the urine collecting duct, where they are stored for some time. Then after that, they goes to the ureter. Ureter are the 2 tubes-like structure. Then from there they are stored in the urinary bladder. When the pressure increases, they goes out through urethra. Thank you.
Good evening, I am Reni Jain and I am standing here to explain kidney failure or hemodialysis. Sometimes person's kidney can stop working due to infection in kidney or injury in kidney, high blood pressure or increase of sugar in a body and regular flow of blood. Complete failure of a kidney allow urea and other waste to build up with the blood. The process of cleaning blood from the body by separating urea and other waste product is called dialysis. Now the working of dialysis. The blood from the artery of the patient's arm made a flow of blood to the dialysers of the dialysis machine, which made a tube of selectively permeable membrane which collide in tube containing dialysis solution. The dialysis solution contains water, glucose and salt in the same concentration that of a normal blood. As the patient's blood is passed through the dialysing solution, the waste product like urea and other waste product is passed through selectively permeable membrane into the dialysis solution. The clean blood is pumped into the human's body by the vein. This is called hemodialysis. No absorption occurs during hemodialysis. Thank you.
तो आप सब लोगों ने देखा कि कैसे कौन सी चीज़ शरीर में कैसे होती है और उसकी वजह से हम सब लोग जिंदा रह पाते हैं, और अगर ऐसा नहीं हो तो क्या होगा, हम सब मर जाएंगे। और ये सारी चीज़ें अपने आप हो रही हैं, मतलब कि किसी पर भी हमारा कंट्रोल नहीं है। तो इससे एक मोरल भी मिलता है कि हमें अपने ऊपर ज़्यादा घमंड नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि ज़्यादा घमंड करेंगे और एक प्रोसेस रुक गई तो सीधे ऊपर। ठीक है। दूसरा ये कि अगर आपको इस पूरे सेशन में कोई डाउट हो तो आप हमें इस पोस्ट के नीचे कमेंट कर सकते हैं विद योर क्वेश्चन, एंड जब भी मुझे टाइम मिलेगा मैं उसको रिप्लाई कर दूंगा, उस आंसर का रिप्लाई कर दूंगा। थैंक यू।